Hey, what do you say, whole heads? Welcome to Taco Tuesday. There's a good chance I might still be asleep right now. Whew, man, what a weekend. But glad to have you along for the ride. Cheers. He didn't waste any time waiting on me.
Let me pretend.
My bad. Here. Oh, it's like Chevy Chase.
I was already toasting you guys in this past weekend, man, because you guys absolutely crushed it. So I'm excited to hear all the recap myself.
Well, I'll tell you what. It was quite something to behold in Spooky Nook. It was the perfect place to house something like this, and I think everybody had a great time. I mean, you want to talk about monster cornhole. There's two types of monster cornhole this past weekend. The regular monster cornhole, the new one, and then the monster that was cornhole at Spooky Nook in Hamilton. And I would tell you also the monster talent that was out there. We had 5 of our 6 kings. Did we ever find out? Did Fergie ever get back across the border? Neither he nor Willie Johns was there, and I'm starting to wonder if they just moved to Canada. I'm not 100% sure, but the bottom line is 5 of our 6 kings were there. Talent from all sorts of places, new faces, new games from here, there, and elsewhere, and It was really something. And so we're going to go over the results here. We're also going to talk about the double dip weekend, no rest for the wicked or the weary, this weekend in 2 different spots, Medford, Oregon, and Albertville, Alabama. But wow. And also in the Pro Series, we had a first, and I don't even think you know about this. So I'll be interested and happy to tell you about something that we had for the first time ever. Subscribe, hit notifications on the YouTube channel. We did have a couple of issues with streaming this past weekend, but by Saturday we worked it out. Thanks to the boys from CBC for handling all the doubles. Then we went back because I think they had stuff going on. I think they might have been playing in singles. So we ran all of the singles, went deep into the evening, both Friday night into Saturday morning, Saturday night into Sunday morning. But the crew, as always, did a fantastic job, and we will make sure to tip our hat there as well. We discovered that, as we guessed, we've been going to YouTube and to Facebook.
Right.
And it was working great until Facebook found out it was working great and then decided to make it harder to do that. And then
there you go.
Impossible to do it. So Zuckerberg, thumbs up again. Bottom line is we're going to do our best to be up on both this weekend, Medford and in Albertville, but we'll see what happens just so that we're not stepping all over each other. But the bottom line is wherever you enjoy watching it is where we're going to try to be putting it. And if you're putting it up on the big screen, I know Margaret Barrett sent me a big 96-inch screen out of the new Brewstillery they had us up on there.
Oh, that's outstanding. I mean, I have heard rumblings that people who finally switch over to the YouTube actually prefer watching it, via the YouTube versus Facebook. But I know there's a lot of people like myself that, would still enjoy watching it on Facebook.
Well, Facebook's easier because you can pop it up on your phone real easily, but YouTube is better quality and a better picture quality. But the bottom line is whichever one works best for you is the one we're going to try.
To watch Facebook on your TV.
Yeah, and unless you want to go to a browser on your TV and try to go to Facebook, if you got a browser on your TV, you've got a smart TV, so you should just go to YouTube and put it up that way because it's much cleaner. I tried doing that with Facebook once, and it looked like dog's ass. So YouTube is the best way to go if you're going to throw it up on the big screen. The social media pieces, again, bangers, and they were turning like that. Kim Jackson just killed it. She had, I saw a post she had this morning. She is just whipped. Her kids were there with her. She was all over the place, playing here, there, and everywhere, and then firing off the social media recaps and everything. So thanks to Kim for that as well. Also, if you haven't signed up for the and to follow the Facebook page, the Season 21 Players page, please do. We post everything, generally cornhole, on the regular Facebook page, but there's stuff that, like the updated Majors schedule, we put in both places for anybody that wants to know about it, but specifically on the Season 21 Players page for those who need to know about it. So there is an updated one. It has that second Upland tournament added into it, and there's still more to come. So know that that will all be on the Facebook Season 21 Players page. So make sure you sign up for that. Our bag partners had a bunch of them on site at Spooky Nook, and all of them running across the bottom of the screen, and a handful of them featured right here out front on front of the table.
Boom, boom, boom.
You were out of town. You were cruising the East Coast, all sorts of different places there, and everywhere as well. Weddings and this and that, and working in a dog sanctuary. There was all sorts of.
I was a greeter at a farm.
A farm greeter. I think preparing you.
Golden Dog Farm, dude. Hey, it was actually a beautiful place, a beautiful space. That was in Vermont. Then we rolled over to New Hampshire, and then I rolled back though to.
That's what I wanted to get
to. Erie, Pennsylvania, and I'll tell you what. Finn, I can't wait. We're going to have to go up there. It's really not a far trek from Cincinnati here. It's about 5 hours or so. And for our Pittsburgh players and stuff like that, I think it's only 2.5 hours. So we got a good contingency of players out of the Pittsburgh area.
Well, and Ian and Storm out of Philly, they got a whole group coming that can come out of Philly and get across. I mean, it's a pretty fur piece across the state. But I mean, the Northeast, it's a great opportunity to take care of the North and the Northeast as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's only, I think, Buffalo is only about an hour and 45 minutes from there. So anyway, but my point to it is we did make a stop by there, Finn, and the facility is, outstanding. It's right there on the bay. It's got 2 hotels, flanking it. There's a number of hotels in the downtown area, loads of restaurants. It is going to become, I think, we're there for the next 3 years, the next 3 seasons, and really excited about that. That is a March major this year. I think it's the last weekend of March. So if you're a player in that region, I definitely think you need to plan on coming out to Erie.
Well, and you had the meeting. Was this yesterday morning? You were there yesterday morning, and I get an email. It says, "Hey, meet Sydney, the marketing and promotion planner, and da 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 da." And I'm looking at it, I'm like, "Great, awesome! I'm going to reach out to Sydney." And then I'm like, "Is Sydney a 25-year-old woman or a 75-year-old man? You're going to have to help me out here." So I looked her up and found out, and she's already gotten back to me. They're pumped and excited. Before the end of the day yesterday, she had already gotten back to me. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And I love that area. I mean, I love Pennsylvania. Obviously, my daughter went to Pitt, so I'm familiar with that drive. I love Buffalo, Canada, clearly, Northern Ohio, Toledo. I've already done a bunch of that. I love that idea. And the end of March, perfect way to start breaking that spring fever.
It's a little bit, other than the fact that this is a lake and a bay versus a river, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Owensboro, right? I love the Owensboro setup where the venue is right there, 2 hotels are right there. Right next to that is a whole city filled with little restaurants and bars and nooks and crannies that you can go explore and discover. So it's a good place. Looking forward to being there. Might be a little bit cold to be out on the beaches. They do have there's some beachfront and stuff like that. Apparently, the bay that you look out to where the resort is and stuff
gorgeous.
But it freezes over in the wintertime.
Really?
Like there are ice fishermen, with the little huts and stuff out there fishing, and people.
See, I would love to go do that. I've always thought, because I've watched a lot of Letterkenny and whatnot, and one of the big parts of that is ice fishing. At one point, is I would love to go out and sit in a hut with somebody and ice fish. I think that would be cool. So bottom line is, but I do have one of those bathing suits, the old timey ones, that goes from the neck all the way down, like with the stripes. And I run into a tent in fast motion and change into it, and then run out and then run.
Maybe
back
you can replace Candler as our flag bearer in that suit. That might look pretty good.
Yes, with my flap open in the back. Yeah, I think that's exactly what Erie wants. Bottom line is, we just finished wrapping things up in Hamilton, which is very similar. A half-mile walk down to a main street filled with bars, restaurants, and all kinds of good stuff. And we're going to recap that in a moment. But first things first, the Monster Cornhole update. And Hoppy is the first one to max out. But there's quite a few right behind him, right?
Right, exactly. And remember, we can have as many players that max out. I mean, it'll be now a luck of the draw of who. It'll be a random drawing for who ends up winning that. I believe
the trip to
this year.
The Worlds. Yep. Right on. Well, the good news is Monster continues rolling and continues to bring new players to the game, as did our Spooky Nook Major and Pro Series Skins Extravaganza. This was amazing, and it could not have happened in the least without Ryan LaBelle, Jesse Hempy, and Barry, of course, Ashley and Craig Irvin, Yeoman's Work, Russell Tapers, Sean Priest, Tammy and Junior Williams, the CBC boys, Dylan, Bill, and Derek was there as well, manning their booth. Clinton Bilo, appreciate your help, as always. Kim Jackson, Killer, Heinerman, Philip Barnett. Everybody just did a bang-up job this way. I mean, honest to God, they did the Worlds in 2 days. They basically, other than the double seniors, additional divisions, pulled it off in 2 days, and it was really fantastic. And the Pro Series, there were 90 plus pros throwing frame games, but we got it going, and he figured out. LaBelle is kind of like. It's funny, you talk to him and he's drinking his Jaeger bombs and smoking his cigarettes one right off the other, but he's got like a beautiful mind, kind of thing in there. I think inside his head, there's like a bunch of thumbtacks and red string that put all this together, because he was walking over to Heinerman and going, well, if we do this and we do this and we move this and then kind of do that and trapezoid this and do that, he goes, we'll get them over here and we'll do this and that. So, and it worked. Everything that he did worked. And in spite of any internet issues we had or whatnot, thanks to everybody for their patience, and thanks to showing up on your boards on time and doing all the things that Scoreholio allows us to do, because we could have been there just solid 48 hours if it hadn't gone as well as it did. So nicely done. Looked great. We weathered the girls volleyball tournament down at the other end of the room as best we could, and it was kind of nice every once in a while to hear those squeals and not have it be
so let me
Jeremiah Ellis.
Was there people from the volleyball crew that were kind of walking through the cornhole community and checking it
literally
out?
walking, walking through center court
through.
and walking behind us, and until we finally had to kind of go, you can't do that. Go upstairs and walk all the way down that thing. But yeah, there were people checking it out, and then there were people up on the upper balcony kind of looking out and over and whatever.
Okay.
But once they came over and got a load of what we were doing, and then we told them they couldn't walk here, or here, then they didn't like us anymore.
They're
so
done.
Anyway, bottom line was, huge weekend in Spooky Nook. Couldn't have happened without all those folks. And speaking of bag partners, IMF was in the house. Man Bags was in the house. Bullseye Bags in the house. Brothers Bags. Primetime Live, brand new sponsor. That's Cheyenne and her husband. Yeah. We're out there. I got great feedback from them. True Cornhole was in the house. Vibe, Jeremiah and his family were there again. BW Cornhole, Big Daddy, Ruthless, and Cornslinger Bag Company, the CBC folks were there as well. And it looked like everybody was staying busy. Everybody's having a good time. Their campsites keep getting bigger and bigger with regard to their teams gathered around. And so the support for the bag companies was through the roof. But let's talk about the winners, all right? In women's singles, and we ran this on Center Court 1. This, I think, has become my favorite division for obvious reasons, but other maybe not so obvious. The competition is through the roof. There is no point where you're bringing a matchup into Center Court where you're like, I don't really know who's going to take this one. There's some divisions where you're like, yeah, that's going to be so-and-so. That's going to be so-and-so. And we saw a lot of this all weekend long where, especially when we got into the main brackets, names that we did not expect to see stay in the top part of the bracket, and names we fully expected to see up there have to fight their way back through. And we'll get to that in a moment. But Kim Jackson, again, very busy. This was the first women's division she's entered this season that she did not win the whole thing. As Kendall Cox and McKenna Kopp battled it out. McKenna Kopp, and the most unique throwing style in the ACO with regard to bag flight, takes the women's singles division. And seniors, this was one where we had some of the OGs. We always talk about family reunions. Well, now we talk about homecomings. And Damon Dennis came back into the ACO, and he showed everybody what he was about. And it threw me right back about 10 years. I flashed back.
Nothing has
immediately.
changed, right? He's still
Not a
putting them
thing
in the
has
hole,
changed,
baby.
and he still crushed it. 6 hours it took to run through that, because there were some 60 seniors in that division, maybe more, over Brian Higginbotham, who had a great tournament. And he only, if I'm not mistaken, only got beaten by a couple of points, but it was a one and done. Damon came in the king seat. Welcome back, Damon Dennis. And Terry Mathis was there, and they had a battle as well. Good to see you guys. Welcome home. In the juniors, challenger, Micah Pennington took down Keegan Stevenson. And if I'm not mistaken, half of our juniors or nearly half were in the challenger division. So that was exactly what this challenger division was developed for, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so Micah Pennington, congratulations. Lonnie Campos held the king seat in the juniors premier division over Chase Hollis, who had a great weekend as well. In the co-ed doubles, it was Kendall Cox and Chase Hollis downing Kennedy Meineke and Sebastian Barger, the first co-ed they've been in together that they haven't won. So we saw some firsts again in Spooky Nook. The blind draw quads, Aaron Snyder, David Weldon, Daniel Wine, and Luke Hepperman took the top honors there. And in the world blind draw, I saw Philip Barnett came over. We were talking to Kim Jackson while we were standing there, and Philip was visibly irritated because Kim drew easy.
I know.
She drew Eric Zockline. She has the best and luckiest.
We were talking about this, I think, in Canada. Like she just just is that person that she's kind of like Jessie Hempy, that Jessie just always wins whatever she gets into.
Yeah.
Kim just always draws that partner that, she doesn't deserve all these great players.
Well,
she needs to be the great player on a team with me or something.
We were laughing last year because she was blind draw player of the season. I'm like, how do you even do that? But
players
and
like that, man.
And you would think that maybe it would be Todd Gammon because he always seems to be there at the end of the quads or whatever. But she drew easy, and sure enough, they took down Caleb Hurt and Chris Watkins for the World Blind Draw Championship. So congratulations. Now, the other thing that happened too, and this is something I noticed from afar, we heard all the squealing coming from the girls' volleyball down at the other end. But I would tell you maybe one of the noisiest things I heard all weekend was coming out of tier play, both in doubles and singles. People love tier play. And when you have that many concentrated in one place, the noise is cacophonous. It was crazy. So World Doubles, Tier 2, Jacob Dennis and Steve Hayes, congratulations. Tier 3, Gene Quilter, back from injury with Michael Chittenden, taking Tier 3. Tier 4, John Rissner and Terry Harris. And Tier 5, Seth Evans and Austin Shekels took home the hardwood. And then you get into World Doubles, and this was unbelievably stacked, this field. Mackenzie and McKenna Kopp tied for 7th with Ryan Hart and Keegan Brown. Tied for 5th, Carter Bennett and Chris Norris, who has great taste in music, by the way, tied with Stuart Graham and Kendall Cox, who were throwing lights out, and they almost unseated the Hertz. But the Hertz just kept grinding and grinding and grinding, and Stewart was finally just turning around to the people sitting in the stands going, what do I got to do? But Douglas Parker and Lonnie Campos, a team that in fact, I think they threw lights out, but they were throwing with Russell Tabor's bags, so I think they're going to be looking to maybe see if they could borrow his bags. But it was Caleb and Isaac Hurt looking on the I Told You So tour to continue their streak, but they got taken out by Sebastian Barger and Tyler Goodwin.
It's a good team, man. That is a good team.
Yes, he had a very, very good weekend. Well, both of them did. In the World Singles, Dan DeClue took Tier 2. Jordan Torres took Tier 3. Todd Ernstberger, how about that? Took Tier 4. And, our thoughts are with you, to the Ernstberger family, and also congratulations on your anniversary. I saw that post this morning. And Amanda Huey took Tier 5. And then we got into World Singles. Dustin Aran and Tyler Goodwin. You would think that maybe they played for the championship. They were tied for 7th. Okay. Chris Day, who had a great weekend as well, tied with Lonnie Campos. Another great weekend, tied for 5th. Trey Brown, a guy who Phil was much more familiar with his game than I was, but that guy was grinding. He would get down and he would just stay focused and grind and grind and grind and grind. He ended up 4th. Richard Jones, who had a great weekend, and more about him when we get into the Pro Series skins, takes 3rd. And then it came down to Scotty Ball and Isaac Hurt. And Isaac got both Hurts got bounced, I think, in the Pro Series by Scotty Ball. I think they both picked him, and he eliminated both of them.
I love it.
So there was a little bit of revenge
Scotty
at play here with Scotty Ball. And Isaac Hurt got bounced down into the loser's bracket and fought his way all the way back and took down the World Singles title.
Well, I did, dude. I'm looking at that. The first thing, that is just crazy. And congratulations to Scotty Ball.
Yeah.
I mean, he is balling it out, like whatever that whole saying is, because he really is, man. But the fun thing to look at there too, Finn, is if I'm not mistaken, didn't Isaac Hurt take 3rd in the juniors?
Yes, he did. He did.
And he comes on here to beat 500 other people out to win the singles
title. And it was funny because when we interviewed him afterwards, we said, you guys are about to have your 1,000th meal at Waffle House. and Caleb was sitting over on the corner watching, and I said, do you think Caleb was sitting over there going, so this is what it's like to watch us? He's just sitting over biting his nails or whatever, and Tammy's over there stretched out like she lives there and everything else. But the SVC crew, again, had to wait it out to head to Waffle House. So congratulations. I know they had a haunted house and a new baby to get back to, do the Hertz. But Scotty Ball played lights out. That guy had a great weekend. He's got his own hot sauce. Barbecue sauce?
Yeah, I think that he started.
He's got his own barbecue sauce that came from a place he used to work. He kind of took and tweaked their recipe. So, Scotty, next time we see you, I want to try this barbecue sauce that we heard so much about. But if it's fiery barbecue sauce, it makes perfect sense because you were throwing gas. Well done. But let's talk a little bit about the Pro Series. Over 90 pros throw frame games. We get down to a final bracket of 16. Chase Hollis threw a 152.
That was our high score
frame game.
Oh, my.
Lonnie Campos threw a 147. Isaac and Caleb each threw a 146. Sebastian 145. Chris Day a 143. Josh Holland 142. And Brandon Earls threw a 141. And then they chose from the next 8, which was David Riley, Amari Scott, Richard Jones, Scotty Ball, Zach Dawson, Jason Wolf, Kanan Culberson, and Dustin Arant.
So what was the bottom cut line? What was the cut line?
It was 138, and there were 5 who threw a 138. And Kanan Culberson and Dustin Arant were the 2 that made it based on the backward reverse elimination. But some of the poison pill picks backfired. One game happened that we've never seen happen. We've seen every iteration of how this works. You have a push here, you're down 3, and you come back, and then you're in the lead, and then you find out. Almost every game, did we have any blowouts? Nobody got blanked. I think we had one.
Did you have a game, just guessing, did you have a game that started and they just kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and then somebody won?
Sort of. It was the first game between Lonnie Campos and Richard Jones. Lonnie went up 5-0. They pushed the rest of them, and Rich won the last one. And he won 8-5. And you can, and this is something we hadn't really seen in the Pro Series skins, because we talk about skin. You got a little bit of strategy. You don't have to play for score. You just have to play to win the frame. It's not about PPR. It's not about numbers. It's about the letters W. And you could see the point where the stress switched from Richard to Lonnie. Yeah, because
he knew if he loses, it's over.
I was up 5-0, and then it went on, and then it got to the next one's worth 8 skins. We had never seen that before, and Lonnie took his hat and just whizzed it off. It might still be in the air somewhere over at Spooky Nook, not out of anger or whatever, but I think he realized that it switched on him. And it broke his brain.
We're going to do, Heine might have to carve that game out for one of his releases that he does all the time, man.
It was something else. And I saw both of them acknowledging it on social media about what a fun and what a great game that was to play. But ultimately, what it came down to was Scotty Ball took 3rd. Sebastian Barger and Josh Holland had a rematch from the King of Cornhole in Tupelo. And it was Josh Holland who came out on top.
Oh, my.
So now they were 1-1. Then they had the rubber match later on in singles, and Sebastian, I believe, took that one.
Who was the overall, do you know who the overall skins winner was?
Yeah, Josh Holland was the overall skins winner with $900. Sebastian came in with 850.
Nice.
So yeah, Josh won 36 skins, Sebastian won 34, but everybody made some money.
I love it.
So that's the first time I think we've also had where everybody made some money. I forget who it was that was blanked in their second round, but they made money in their first round. So it was cool. People were the crowd around center court was awesome, and congratulations, Josh Holland. And we had an interview with him, which we thought would be much like interviewing Sebastian Barger. It's like, hey, you happy? Yep. Okay, thanks for your time. But he actually
lots to say,
quite a bit to say about his strategy and what he was up against, and he knew what he was going to have to do. So congratulations.
Did he break into song though?
Who? Josh Holland? No. Is he a singer?
He's a singer. You weren't at the Worlds? Yeah, you should have break in a song, man.
At the after party?
Yeah.
Oh, by that point, I was dodging Dustin Arant, who was riding around on Nelson's scooter trying to take me out. So I didn't get to hear any of that. But no, I did not know that. So a couple of first-time purple jersey winners, obviously Tyler Goodwin. Damon Dennis grabbed his first one for the season, and Chase Hollis, congratulations to all of you. So now we are off and continuing to run towards 2 cities. And we are going to have a shot of the week coming up here in a moment, and Phil's time to Phil picks for both of these majors. But we're heading off to Albertville, Alabama, which you said is just a fantastic facility.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear the responses of players that end up down there playing. I think right now it's looking like we've got around 200 to 220 players coming in already from, I think, 12 states or something like that. So that's going to be a really decent-sized one. And but yeah, I love that facility there. The people that we're working with there are incredible, and I think the players are going to have a great time.
It's awesome, and I know everybody's going to have a great time because I've already seen it firsthand in Medford, Oregon. I'm heading out there early in the morning.
My favorite. I need to get back out there.
Yeah, and
I want the springtime. I mean, I want the fall here. This is the time I haven't.
That's right, because you
haven't never got out there. I've always gone in the winter.
Well, that's when I went. The first time I went in the fall. We went up to Crater Lake, amazing. We went to Becky's Pies, amazing. Went to wineries. We went all sorts of different places and saw it all. And that's where we made the announcement that the world's next season are going to be in Medford. So looking forward to being back out there with everybody from Haggard Bags and Zero Bags and everybody else. I don't know if anybody from Pitch is going to be up there. Hopefully maybe Hal will be up there if he's up. I don't know, but I'm looking forward to seeing TJ and Darren. Going to be big fun. Can't wait. And if you can check here on the screen, you've got a schedule of events. And again, Thursday night, the kickoff party and the blind draw is there at the Rogue X. And the Fat Kid Food Company, my favorite name for any food truck ever, the Fat Kid Food Company, they're having a free meal for all players registered for the major. So it's incentive for you to come out and grab some awesome food from the Fat Kid Food Company truck. That's Thursday night, and then Friday and Saturday, obviously, Travel Medford is sponsoring the major, and always a good time. Great people to hang out with, and a killer facility. Looking forward to getting out there.
The community is awesome. I mean, I just love the community there. There's so many things to do there, right? I mean, a lot of majors we go to, we try to find places that have lots of things to do. This place has lots of things to do, man.
Yeah, and not the least of which, I think they said somewhere in 80 to 85 wineries just in that community.
Is that right?
Yeah. So we were out there doing different stuff to promote the Worlds coming out there. And when he told me that, I didn't believe him. He goes, hand of God, that's the truth. And when you go out and look around, you can see the land is fertile. And I mean, you're only an hour and some away from the Redwoods. Yep. You're right there at the border of Northern California. The ocean is just, I mean, you can almost smell it from there. So looking forward to getting out and seeing you boys out in Medford. That's going to be big fun. I cannot wait. So both of those on tap this weekend, and then we move off to Salt Lake City and Kansas City. Is that Fuel House Rocks pre-party? Is that sold out?
That's sold out, but
it is.
Anybody's welcome to come and party with us because it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of things to do there besides just hang out and play in the cornhole activity we got going on. All sorts of food, beverage,
like
other
cars
games, classic stuff. Cars to check out. I mean, if you're a player coming to Kansas City, Kansas, you need to show up at Fuel House.
Yeah, and if you wouldn't mind going into Kansas City and just making them feel better. I don't know if you watched the game last night. Did you see the game last night?
No, what happened?
Oh, boy.
What happened? Tell me about it.
They know. Trevor Lawrence, in the last 10 seconds of the game or 20 seconds of the game, they're down on the 1 yard line. He takes the ball, trips, falls down, gets up, falls down again, and somehow cuts to the left and scores a touchdown to beat Kansas City last night. Yeah. So anyway, I know it's not, there's different Kansas Cities, but anyway, bottom line is, I was sitting there going, how in the hell is this team 3-1? Luck. Anyway, bottom line is Medford and Albertville this weekend, Salt Lake City, Kansas City next weekend, and then we wrap the month. We skip a week, and then we wrap the month Halloween weekend with lacrosse. That was moved back a week, and I think everything's being changed in Scorholio now. The dates and everything are being changed. So Halloween and November 1st. When do we want to do shot of the week now? Is that something we want to plug in now, Eric? Do we want to plug in shot of the week now, or go through the rest of the upcoming majors? All right, let's do this. I want to get into shot of the week because Rich and Tracy, I wanted to give them props for being. They worked their asses off too in Hamilton in Spooky Nook. They were they had over the place.
Big stuff going on.
Yes.
I mean, dude, I think I've heard one of their posts had over like 200,000 views. I mean, just
the very
craziness.
first one they did with Rich with everything in the background.
Nice job, Tracy and Rich.
That was huge and. I yucked her yum a little bit, so I went and apologized. But the bottom line is they worked their asses off. Whole nation was in the building and in effect the entire weekend. And we did point out at one point, I forget, there was one game where there were 3 shots in a row that could have been shot of the week. So I suggested that maybe looking forward, those are all 3 shots of the week moving forward. But check this one out. Rich, take it, brother.
Thanks, Finn and Frank. Welcome to this segment brought to you by Whole Nation. I'm your host, Rich Pyle. I'm going to show you a cornhole shot from a recent tournament. A pivotal shot. A game-changing shot. A shot you don't get to see every day. Check out this shot of the week.
This shot of the week comes to us from the ACO Spooky Nook Major, where Brandon Earls and Ryan Tucker are battling in the singles division. There's a lot of dirty laundry on the board when Ryan decides to pull out some Tide and clean up his bags with this airmail drag. But that's not enough, so he spot cleans the rest of his bags with this.
Doesn't mean he's not going to try. Oh, he got him. He got him. And
What do I know? What do I know?
Brandon's too with him.
Great shot, Ryan.
Thanks for watching this week's Shot of the Week. Now let's turn it back over to the Taco Show with Frank and Fin at the ACO World Headquarters. Frank, Fin?
And how about that? Brandon Earls, who we hadn't seen in a minute, and Ryan Tucker, who I had never seen at all. He's an Ohio player, and it's the first time I'd ever seen him, and he spent quite a bit of time on center court, and now you can see why. And I would say this is one of the things, before we get back to the rest of the upcoming schedule and time to fill, there were a lot of people, that had been away for a minute and then came back, and they're looking around going, uh-oh, wow, this isn't the same place I left or the same place I took a break from to do my family stuff or whatever. And I think I think it was a great eye-opener for everybody involved. And we saw, like I said, when we mentioned this, we took bracket A. There were 8 brackets in singles.
8.
All the way through H, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. After pool play, there were 8, and the qualifiers, there were 8 brackets. And we took bracket A. And I'm looking over at these games, and I look at him, and I go, why would they give us bracket A? I don't know. He goes, oh, yeah, everybody you know is already down here. And so they all had to work their way back up. It was a great bracket, but a lot of players, new names, new games, we always talk about that, made their way in. And honestly, Ryan was one of those guys where I'm like, I've never seen this guy throw, but every time he was up there, I'm like, he's throwing lights out. And it's really exciting to see what's happening in cornhole just in general, from juniors, from the youngest kids that are playing, all the way to some of our new senior players and some of our returning senior players. So bravo, and thanks to Tracy and Rich. They had a great pitch-in for prizes. I think they set an individual record for that one.
They did indeed.
So that's awesome, and congratulations to you guys for nailing it, knocking it out of the park. So we got through the end of October. November 7th and 8th, Upland, California. That's the one that's been added to the new updated schedule, which you can find on the Facebook page pinned to the top. Tupelo and Pocatello, the double O, middle of November, 14 and 15. Then the next weekend, 21-22, we're double dipping again. Mannheim, we go to Spooky Nook Mannheim. There's a third Spooky Nook. Did you know that?
No,
there's another
that
one
must be brand new. I don't know about
there's a brand new one in Pennsylvania, another one in Pennsylvania. But so we're going to be in Mannheim, Pennsylvania, and the Weston Lake Las Vegas Major, a new place in Las Vegas, which you can't stop raving about.
I love it. I've not actually even been there. I've just heard from friends in Vegas about how cool that place is, and it's a lot of fun. It's on the water again, and looking forward to putting ourselves back in that community.
Yeah, and when you say on the water in Las Vegas, it's man-made.
It's
right?
man-made.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'm just making sure we're not out by the Hoover Dam,
Which is man-made.
No, oh, it is? That lake?
Well, yeah, the lake is made because of the dam, right?
Well, no, yeah, I guess so. Okay. Bottom line is I'm no geologist, geographist, or I don't know what I am. Well, yeah, I do. It begins with an A. November 28 and 29, Thanksgiving weekend with our ACO family. It's just in time for you to get rid of your actual family and come to your other family. We'll be back in South Bend, always big fun. The only difference is not a pro series this year, so we'll have a little bit more leeway with regard to getting going, but we're going to get up and get going early on Friday. Always sells out, always big fun. And before we get to, well, we'll just finish with December 5th and 6th, Fresno, California. So bing, 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 boom. We're all over the country. I want to get back to a point where you talk about sellouts, and you were making this point a while back. I don't know why that one beer is making me burp so much. Anyway, singles ticket is the key.
That's the key. That's it, man. I mean, for a player that has any desire to go to any specific major across the country for the rest of the season, I'd highly recommend. There's only one ticket you definitely need to purchase as soon as you know you plan to go someplace, and that is that singles ticket. None of the other tournaments are going to probably sell out. Seniors, women's, co-ed,
even doubles.
Doubles, those are all not going to sell out. The one that sells out is singles. So if you know you're going someplace, go out and get your ticket, man. It's not a big purchase for you, especially if you're a World's membership.
Well, and once you get there, if there are other divisions, and the days leading up to, even further into it, you can then sign up for your other division to lock down that singles ticket to make sure that you get in, and then you can kind of backfill depending upon what your schedule is. Because I know some, like Fergie, didn't make it into Canada in time to play seniors, but he was ready to go for everything else, just the way his flights were set up. So you have that flexibility with the membership levels, all three of them, and the divisional ticket purchases through Scoreholio, which, from what I can tell, is working very well.
Players are starting to get used to it. The staff is starting to get used to it. It's new. Finn, it's just new for us. But we've been through a full month now that people are starting to get acclimated to what's going on.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to make the same point I've made probably every year since we've been doing this live on video. The different things that pop up every year that are new, that are tweaks, that are changes, every single one of them is in service to the game and the player. And it's to make it more accessible, take the game to more people, take more people to the game, give you better access, give you smoother, streamlined access, give you more ways to win. When we first started tier play, everybody's like, but it was like, well, I was sitting around with just my thumb up my attitude with nothing to do. And now everybody's hyped and jazzed about taking home even a tier 5 trophy, which is a trophy. You know how many more trophies that is than I'll ever have? Lots. So it's awesome. It's great because it continues just to keep things rolling and keep the game going and not dampening the enthusiasm for any part of it. So to those, and before we get to time to fill, again, thanks to all our bag partners who made it out. Appreciate all of you. It's worth noting all of you again. IMF and Man Bags, Bullseye Brothers Bags, Primetime Live, True Cornhole Vibe, BW Cornhole, Big Daddy Ruthless, and CBC. Thanks again to the team. Ryan LaBelle, Jesse and Barry Hempy, Crashley, Craig and Ashley Irvin, Russell Tabor, Sean Priest, Tammy and Junior Williams, CBC guys, Kim Jackson, Heinerman, Philip Barnett, who we're going to end on here in a moment. Everybody who made this thing happen. And thank you guys for your patience when we did have some issues here and there. All of you who watched, that's the other one. And who commented and filled in the blanks for people in the commentary, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube. That community is just as engaged and part of all of it as the community that's there playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's
100%.
what, and sharing all of that just is going to build these things, as you mentioned with Tracy and Rich's video. It builds and it hits an algorithm and it triggers another one, and it triggers another one, and it triggers another one. And at a time when the ACO is really poised to whether it's Canada, the UK, and more on that next week, or new markets, Erie, or wherever it is we're going in the US, the growth potential is limitless. The new CO directors, the old CO directors, everybody in between, finding your spot on that map and taking your territories. All of this growth is exactly what we want to see happen for you. And it makes us, we talk about a major like this pays for all of the majors we're trying to develop everywhere else. That's what it's all for. It just continues to grow. And we saw it in full. It was electric in that building this weekend. It really, really was.
No, you and the entire team, I mean, you guys absolutely crushed it. I mean, we as a company couldn't ask for any better performance from the team.
Yeah, well, it was awesome. And your cooperation, your patience, and your camaraderie. The only thing I would say, and I would ask this favor, is pick up and throw something in the trash when you leave. That's my only comment.
20 years later, it hasn't changed.
No. You know how many more dip bottles I want to pick up and throw away on the way out? I don't mean to yuck your yuck. I'm just saying it was a blast. It was so much fun. And now we've told you everything about where we've been. We've told you where we're going. But this weekend, we got to figure out who's going to take the top prize. Phil took a little bit of a spanking in his picks this past week. We'll see what he has to say this time. And before we wrap things up and get to time to fill, I'm Finn, the loudmouth for the ACO. He is Frank Geers, the cornhole dude, reminding you, as always,
keep on pitching.
Welcome to another episode of Time to Fill. I'm coming from you from beautiful Spooky Nook. That's right. What a tournament. 515 players. Congratulations, Isaac Hurt, for taking that. This week we're headed to two majors. Medford, Oregon, and Albertsville, Alabama. Alabama been crying about a major, another major there. They're getting it this week. Let's get started with Oregon, with Alabama first. And juniors, I'm going to go with Noah Dennis to take this field down. Watch out for Jax Lamoten. And Lonnie Campos might be in this field. If he is, I'm taking Lonnie Campos, Noah Dennis there. In women, I'm going to go with Kelsey Turner, but watch out for Kim Jackson and Cheyenne Bubeheim here. And seniors, I'm going to go with Tony Franco Sr., but watch out for Daryl Macon. Hey, and a shout out for Marty Thompson, finally getting to play seniors at a major. In co-ed, I got to go with Daryl Macon and Kelsey Turner, but watch out for Chad Jackson and Kim Jackson. In doubles, I'm going to go with, listen to this team right here, Gary Bearpaw and Jacob Foreman. Gary Bearpaw returning to the ACO this week, but watch out for Cody Brewer and Nate Stevens here. And in singles, I'm going to go with Tyler Goodman, but watch out for Nate Stevens and Gary Bearpaw also in this field. Oh, one last pick for there. Blind draw, Kim Jackson. No matter who she draws, she's going to draw the best player there. Kim Jackson takes the blind draw down. Just poking some fun at you, Kim. Now let's move on to Oregon. Let's start out with women. I'm going to go with Caressa Kerr, but watch out for Jessica Clark here. In seniors, Scott Swenson is in this field. He is our seniors world champion, but watch out for Mike Worth. In co-ed, I'm going to go with Caressa Kerr teaming up with Scott Swenson to take the co-ed field down. In doubles, I'm going to go with Jeff Reed and Thomas Bloom. That's right, Jeff Reed and Thomas Bloom. And in singles, I'm going to go with Gavin Lish making the trip out to Oregon. But watch out for Carson Morris. And oh yeah, Kim Jackson might make the blind draw here too. Never know. That's going to be my picks this week for Time to Fill. If you think I should pick you, prove me wrong.